upon reflection, it might be best to drill the hardware holes before I put the finish on. In a fit of sometimes thoughtfulness, I guess, I don't know, I decided to drill the holes first before I did do the finishing. So the way I'm drilling the holes is not years ago, I bought this shelf drawer front jig, and it's for drilling holes for hardware in cabinets. And this will clamp right on here. So see, like so. What I did is I have the center finder from Pro Tape, these center finder tape measures, and I went and I found the center here, which is 11 and 11 and an eighth, and that is done in halves down here. So 11 and an eighth measured on the lower scale puts the hole right in the middle. And from here, the distance across here is get it right. 7 and an eighth, and what I do is I measure down, and I put a pencil X here. There's indexing marks. Let's see if I can get this in camera. There's indexing marks here and here to get the hole the drill boss directly over that X, and then there's a stop here on these other drill bosses, drill guides, and I just put it up against there and against there, and then gently clamp it in place so it doesn't move. There we go. Double check it's tight everywhere. Double check the measurements. Yep. Yep. All right, and then I take and now, the funny thing is that this drill boss is metric, and the closest bit I can get without going over is the 3/16, because the hardware, and I'll show you in a minute, is a little over 3/16 in diameter that's going to go into this hole. So what I do is I take my brad point bit, put it down through the guide, and drill the primary hole. Okay, then I unchuck that bit, that drill, and I put in a drill that's just a slightly over, that matches the hardware just about perfectly. And I'll open the hole up just by that much. So let me show you the hardware. Actually, in an earlier video I did show you the hardware. This is the little dangly thing, and it comes within a scutcheon, and that's going to slip in there. I have to buy longer screws because this is double the wood here due to the front being fastened to the box. But the scutcheon is like that, and that is what it's going to look like. Now picture that with the finish on it. So now I will go through and drill all the holes for both the danglies and for the bails, because there's the bails on the wider drawers. And then we'll maybe spray some stuff. Doing the big drawers is the same thing but different. Same way but different. So the bails and the scutcheons have holes this has holes that are 3 inches apart, center to center. So what I did was I marked a center line here for the jig that's in line with where the pulls are for the small drawers. Then I drew a line to the center of the drawer itself, drawer front itself. It gave me an X mark, but it also gave me those lines where I could line it up and down, right and left, with the markings on the scale here and the marking on the scale there. Once I got that in place, I clamped it down. The clamp's here somewhere. I clamped it down in place, and then I moved these two pieces to 1.5 inches on either side of the center of the scale, and then I moved the block, the stop, to the edge of the drawer front. So now I've got it exactly where I need it. And to do the other side, you flip it over. And it gives you the exact same thing. So we're good. So, and in this case, the screws are, what are they? They are 3/16, a little under 3/16. So I can use the brad point bit. So let's drill the holes. Unclamp it, bring up the escutcheon, and it's perfect, absolutely perfect. Maybe I should do this close up for you. So now I drill these holes, I flip it over from left to right, get it all centered up against the stops, and then clamp it in place. I guess my arm may be in the way of the camera. Come on. There we go. So now it's not going to move. Everything's fine. And I just drill the holes. And there we go. The other 4 drawers are bigger this way. So I have to go through that process again on those, but I don't have to set up the jig once and then flip, 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 drill, 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 drill. Onward. And here you go with a sneak peek at the finished product, what they're going to look like, all in line with each other. So that's a quick treatise, as it were, of using one of these cabinet jigs. One of the other neat things about it is you can take your hardware, whatever it's going to be, and adjust the jill bosses to fit your hardware perfectly. But in this case it was 3 inches, so it's just 1.5 inches either side of center. Now this one was dirt freaking cheap. I think I paid $12 for it on Amazon. And you needed a little adjustment, and I had to put a little bit of a shim here because this was not perfectly perpendicular to the ruler. So I put a little bit of shim stock in there, and that fixed that. These come in a variety of price breaks from as little as $12 and I think as much as $100. Your choice. I certainly, this one's working fine for me. I don't need to replace it, buy a new one or anything like that. So I'll use this until it dies, if it ever dies. So everything's ready for the hardware, and now everything's ready for putting the finish on. So we'll end this episode here, little short one, and the next episode will be putting the finish on, starting with the shellac, and then going with the wipe and polyurethane. So until next time, make great things out of wood and put your hardware on symmetrically.